All right, we are going to cover 3 new scales: the B scale, the F sharp scale, and the C sharp scale. And we will have a new rule which will apply with these scales. Now, if you remember correctly, your old rule was your 3s played together. So when you played the C scale, 3s played together. And that worked for all the scales from C to G to D to A and to E. Okay? But for scales B, F sharp, and C sharp, you have a new rule. Okay? And we're going to cover that here in a second. Now, we are doing what we call the circle of fifths. All your scales are going in order, and they're going in 5s. Now, you remember your intervals. We talked about intervals before. This is unison. This is a second. This is a third. This is a fourth. This is a fifth. This is a sixth. This is a seventh. And this is an octave. Also an eighth. Okay? Now, when you go to count up or down, that first note is always note 1. So if I say go up a third, it's not like where you count days, where I say, okay, in 3 days, and you start with the first day being tomorrow. With music, when I say go up a third, this starts note 1, 2, 3. Scales are moving in fifths, okay? Everything's in 5s. So starting here, you basically, to find your next scale, you put your first finger down there and you go to your 5th finger, and that's your next scale, okay? And if you remember correctly, we add a sharp with each scale that we were doing using the circle of fifths, all right? Now I want you to memorize the order of your sharps: F, C, G, D, A, E, B. So when you played the C scale, you had no sharps, but when you went to the G scale, you had your first sharp, which is F sharp. Your new sharp will always be the name of the note before the name of the scale. So if you're playing G scale, your new sharp is F sharp. Okay? When you get to the D scale, keep your old sharp, which was F sharp, and add your new one, which is going to be C sharp. Get to the A scale, keep your old sharps F and C, and your new one's going to be G sharp. Get to the E scale, keep your old ones F, C, G, and your new one is going to be D sharp. So your name of your, the order of your sharps, are F, C, G, D, A, E, B. F, C, G, D, A, E, B. It is not the order of the sharps that are actually played in all your scales, because if you play your A scale, the first sharp that you play in the scale is C sharp, okay? I'm talking about the order of the sharps as we're building sharps, okay? And when you play the E scale, your first sharp is F sharp, but your second sharp then is G sharp, okay? So I'm not talking about the order of the sharps that you play within your scale. I am talking about the order of the sharps within the circle of fifths, okay? F, C, G, D, A, E, B. Now, if you remember when you play scales, you do not skip fingers. You don't go skipping 3 and put a 4 down here and then go to a 1. You can't do that, okay? Cannot skip fingers. So your new rule with the next 3 scales, and by the way, the famous composer and piano player Chopin was a big fan of this rule. And he thought the C scale was actually hard, but thought that these next 3 scales were actually easy when you consider the new rule. And the new rule is very, very simple. These 2 fingers go on these 2 black keys. First finger and second finger. Second finger and third finger, my bad. And then these 3 fingers, second, third, and fourth, go on this group of 3 black keys. Now in the left hand, it's these 2 fingers again on these 2. These 3 on these. So when you go to play the B scale, which is 5 sharps, F, C, G, D, and A, right here on your first finger, it fits. But you got a problem in the left hand. If you try to start with your fifth finger and then go to the rule, which is these two fingers here, you're skipping the fourth finger. So when you play the B scale in your left hand, you got to start with your fourth finger in order to make the rule work. So the B scale is one that you're going to start with the fourth finger in the left hand, first finger in the right hand. Okay? Now, go 5 notes from B, and you don't come to F because you got to keep your sharps as you go. You're going to go to F sharp. Okay? F scale has to do with the circle of force, which is your flats. So when I say go 5 notes from B, keep your sharps, because that's what you've been doing all along, and come up to F sharp. Now, same rule applies. So in the right hand, you start with finger 2, 3, 4, cross under, thumb on B, and then 1, 2, cross under again, so that your thumb is on F, or that's actually known as E sharp, and then second finger. So this is your right hand. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Left hand. 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 1, and 4. Okay? So finally we get to the last scale, and that is the C sharp scale, where everything is sharp. You have an E sharp, which is just the note F, and you have a B sharp, which is the note C. Okay? So, start with the same rule. These two fingers here. Cross under to a 1 on the E sharp, which is F. 2, 3, 4, 1 on B sharp, and then 2 on C sharp. So you might have caught something here. Your 1s are always on the white keys. So you play the F sharp scale. 1 is on B. 1 is on F. Play the C sharp scale. 1 is on F, which is the same as E sharp. 1 is on B sharp, which is the same as C. So that is where your 1s are going to play. Okay, so in the left hand, here's F sharp. C sharp scale. And this is everything sharp. So then the last question that usually I get asked, why when you end the scale do you have to end on the right finger? Why can't you go 3 right here? Or when you're playing the F sharp scale, why do you have to end on 2 right here and not a 3 or a 4? Okay? The reason why is that I am teaching you how to play 1 octave scales. Not 2, 1 octave scales. All right? 1 octave is this. From here to here. And then you come backwards. There are also 2 octave scales, 3 octave scales, and the way that they're played is when you get to the top right here, you start over again. Okay? Now, if you are playing the C sharp scale and you end with a 3 right here, you can't keep going because now you broke the rule. Okay? So if you end on 2, you keep going. So on. Okay? So you want to end with the right fingering. Just like you began with the right finger, you want to end with the right fingering as you're actually doing these. Okay? I hope this helps.